Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another pulse-pounding, thrilling episode of the Otakuology podcast. I am
Pulse
Otaku Mike.
pounding.
You messed up my interest, goddammit!
Pulse pounding.
I am Otaku Mike. I am here with the interrupter of my intro, Jen Graves,
Also a pulse pounder.
also a pulse pounder.
And
if
if
you
you read this manga, you will be too.
if you don't know who we are, we're two otaku who talk about some nerdy stuff. And today we are looking at Vol.1 of Elder Sister Like One, written by is it Ida Pachi? Is that how you say it?
I think it's Itapochi.
Ida Pochi? This
Itapochi.
Ida Pochi.
Itapochi.
This manga was it started in 2016 and by Dengeki G Comics in 2016. Then it moved over to their online website in 2019 and has been released over here, licensed by Yin Press. So let's get into this manga. God damn. I haven't read this manga in like over 2 years, maybe?
2 years. I think it's not that long.
I mean, let's just get into this. Do you want me to read the synopsis, or do you want to just go dive into the book?
Oh yeah, you could read the synopsis for
Okay.
everybody out there.
So Yu has had a rough life. After losing his parents in a car accident when he was 5, he found himself bounced back and forth among relatives, with no place to truly call home. Plagued by a constant feeling of loneliness, all he wants is little companionship. And he's about to get it in more ways than one, basically.
He's
Then
about to get it in spades.
um, her name is Chiyo, and she'll grant you one wish. The only problem is, she's a demon with unmanageable powers. That's our synopsis.
Yeah.
So let's get into this manga. So our manga starts out with Yu. Yu is at the hospital. His uncle
The
has
worst part about it is no, it
what?
sounds like it's a like a rom-com game
Oh,
because his name's you.
okay.
So whenever you start out at the hospital, and I was like, I start out at the hospital, do I?
You, the character, starts out at a hospital with his relatives. His uncle is somehow in the hospital. I think he's in critical care. I don't know. They don't really go into too much detail with what exactly he is there for,
That's true.
but they're basically like, uh, you'll have to stay at this house. You'll stay at your uncle's house while he's in the hospital, and they kind of just leave him there.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And they're like, can you? Do you think you can do that?
yeah, and they like he's like, yeah, I can do it, and they walk off, and not even like an earshot away from him, they're like, I can't believe that little fucker. How can he do this shit to this type of thing?
Because they thought he was going to come back to them. Can I just
I
tell you?
I don't want to have
I,
to deal with this little shithead.
can I just tell you on a side note?
Yeah.
I fucking hate the aunt.
Oh yeah, most
And
definitely.
this
Yeah.
is like all we like know about her so far is just this shit.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And he like goes home and he's going to pack a bag for his uncle, because his uncle has to stay there for a couple days, I believe. And he's going to look for his insurance card. And we get a flashback to him going to his uncle's house. And his uncle's like, "Look, you can stay here, just don't go into the main house."
Don't go into his workshop.
Yeah, his workshop or whatever I believe it is, and you can live here. I don't care what you do, just don't go into the specific area. He's like, okay, that's fine. He goes into the. They say it's the main house. I don't know if there was like a translation mix up, but in the beginning it said storehouse.
Yeah.
But in he goes into the main house to look for his insurance card, and
Yeah,
he's
so he's in the main house looking for the insurance card
uh-huh.
because he's trying strongly not to go to the storehouse to think of
Okay,
that's where it
okay,
is.
okay. Then
Yeah,
I got confused. Then okay,
yeah, because the main house is where they actually live at.
okay, yeah. And um, he goes to the main house, and you can see it's not very well taken care of. There are vines growing up the side of the wall outside. Things don't look like they've been really upkept in any way. And he goes to open this chest, like a chest drawer thing,
Yeah,
and he sees, oh, there are stairs leading down to this into this chest, like his box, and he's like, well, I guess the card's down there, right? You
right.
know, and
Oh man,
he,
whenever I got to that part, I was like, "Is this turning into a fucking horror movie already? Like,
and I was,
why are there some kind of random stairs in
yeah,
a box?"
yeah, yeah,
You
and
know,
my,
and then from
yeah,
there it was like, okay, we're walking down here, and then it looks even worse than the rest of the house and
yeah,
the workshop. Like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
yeah.
And I was like, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah, it just keeps getting worse, and there's like stuff, like symbols written on the wall. There's like
Yeah,
books.
I was really starting to think like, was this going to start turning into like a really religious book? And you find out
Yeah,
like the uncle is like some kind of uh like crazy ass like Satanist or something weird like
yeah, and
that.
it was interesting because they mentioned Helter Skelter in the book,
They did.
and wasn't that Charles Manson's book?
That was his whole philosophy. That was
Okay,
yeah, that was the Manson family and everything.
okay, because I wasn't 100% sure. Like, did he write Helter Skelter?
No, Helter
No.
Skelter is what they called his whole little murder thing for that one night.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. So he's in this basement of sorts, this mysterious dark basement. He steps into this, what looks to be like a blood seal on the floor, and we get our introduction to our one of our main characters in this book, Jin. What happens?
Oh man. So this actually takes me back to us talking about the Monster Girl Encyclopedia on and off a couple times
Yeah,
because it basically like summons her.
yeah,
It summons she doesn't have a name yet, so we can't even call her Chio yet.
yeah,
But it basically summons this satyr looking girl with long black hair that turn into tentacles.
yeah. She has like tentacles coming out. She has like goat legs and hooves, and she
Yeah,
has like these wicked horns that come out of her head. Like they're really
right.
cool.
Yeah,
And she has like these eyeballs on her. Like,
above her
is she
cleavage.
is she
It's
like
like a it's
wear
like a necklace.
is she like wearing it as a necklace?
Yeah,
Okay, okay. And she's like, what is she like? Oh, what does she say exactly? She's like, oh, I didn't know somebody like you could release me or summon me or something like that. And
yeah,
she's like, she's being
uh,
kind of coy. It seems like.
yeah. I find it weird where she says, it's kind of like that thing, like oh, I'm gonna hate myself for saying it. It's kind of like Twilight, okay? Whenever you get Bella and Edward, and he's like, what am I?
Yeah.
Say it out loud. And she kind of like puts him in that position, like
Well,
say what I
well,
am out loud.
he
And he
says
goes, he says the opposite of what
he's like, "Are you
what
an
we would.
angel?"
An angel.
Yeah, it was weird. It was interesting, and then this weird what I like to call a tentacle turd shows up.
Oh my god, I hate
It look,
tentacles.
this something comes out of like a portal or something, and
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh my god, we gotta go!" And he like kind of takes her hand, and he's like, "She's like, look, I'll take care of this thing, but you have to like."
I'm not even gonna say it because I didn't even think it was like a turd. Like, because if you really sit there and just you got the book right, sit there and just look at it
It
for a
looked
second.
it looked like a turd crossed with a vagina.
I guess we can go with that, but for sure it does. Maybe like an octopus.
It was
Oh
weird.
my god, yeah. I mean, it just I saw that and I was like, I hope there's not more of those things in here because it's really
Yeah,
disturbing looking.
yeah, and he's like, she's like, I can take care of that thing for you, but you need to like make a wish and kind of like make a pact with me almost.
Yeah,
And what he chooses is his wish is he wants a family,
yeah,
and he wants her to become his big sister, to take care of him, spend time with him basically because he is lonely. And he passes out. We don't get to see exactly what
after
happens
after that kiss.
after. Oh yeah, they seal the deal by her jamming her tongue down his throat.
Right? Which,
Yeah,
let me point this out for everybody that is going to potentially read this. So, on and off throughout at least book one,
yeah,
you get this whole thing that whenever she like touches him in a
yeah,
certain way, I feel like it's sucking his soul out because
possibly.
you get this whole lightheaded, oh my god,
Yeah,
or something weird like that. So like, and it's weird how it does it because sometimes she'll touch him like
yeah,
like a sister would, like touch him on the shoulder, nothing happens. And then other times she'll touch him in a different way, and it's like, oh my god, my energy is gone.
yeah. It's a little weird. And so he wakes up. He sees his new sister named Chio. And Chio is like, "Oh, I'm so glad you don't have a fever." Uh, you know, uh and he started to say like, "Oh, what happened to your like tentacles or whatever?" And she kind of stops him and she's like, "We're not supposed to talk about that. We're brother and sister." And she's
Yeah,
trying to play along with the part of being what he thinks or what she thinks he needs to be a sister.
right. Which that's another thing I'm kind of confused about is what error when she was summoned last did she learn any of her stuff of like being a sister? Because she already kind of tells us, I don't know much, but I know some
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's true. There's one it's a scene. It's where she's like sitting there and she's like, you can call me sis. And it's kind of creepy because she's like smiling, trying to be cute,
Yeah,
but her hair is like dripping black tentacles.
yeah,
And I was like, that's kind of disturbing. But yeah,
right. And
anyways,
I mean, yeah, and then we move on kind of to her telling him about the contract and everything,
yeah,
and and then at some point, I don't know how we get to this point,
uh-huh,
but she brings up about how like her flesh and stuff before was demon flesh, so it's got totally different
yeah.
texture,
Oh
everything.
yeah, and she proceeds to get naked.
Even though it doesn't seem like there's that big of a change
Yeah,
art wise, but supposedly there's a huge change.
yeah,
So, and now she's like, "Oh, my body is like this porcelain white and all this other stuff,"
yeah,
and like unveils herself to him like, "I'm a masterpiece." Do you think that?
yeah. She's
And it
like,
just
look.
gets really weird.
She's like, look, see touch my skin. I'm human. Look, you can hear my heart. You can feel my heartbeat. And she like takes his hand and like puts it on her tit.
Yeah,
And he's like, oh my god, I'm touching her. I shouldn't be doing this to my sister.
right. Did you at any point reading this start thinking of the Joe Dirt part? Like,
Yeah,
oh, you're my
you're
sister.
my sister. You're my sister.
I was like, oh
Yeah,
no, no.
yeah,
I feel like I slipped into that almost every chapter.
yeah.
Like that.
And so
Oh, you're my sister. Damn it.
you faints out from the whole situation, and he kind of comes back to. He faints a lot. It seems like in this first couple chapters, and he's like, oh, like cook with me, and and she's like, okay, yeah, let's cook something. Let me get some human placentas, so we
Oh
can eat some
yeah,
placentas. And
yeah.
he's like, what? No, no, we're not gonna eat human body parts. No. And she's like, but I always eat human placentas. People give those to me because as like tribute.
Right. Which I love that part of this backstory too. With this, where she told us that,
Yeah.
you know, and it kind of got me thinking. Like in every kind of book like that we read, is the innate thing of demons. Like, what if it was all taught like that? Because that's what we as human beings perceive like a demon would eat or whatever. Because that's
Yeah.
kind of how it comes off with her. Is, oh well, people would have these placentas and they would offer it to me, and so like
Well, yeah,
that's kind of all she knows to eat.
yeah. They even show her in a panel, which is actually really nicely drawn. She has like a goblet, and she's like sitting on like this pedestal, and people are like giving her placentas.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But I
it's
mean that's kind of the thing. Like, is that like imagine like another book where we have a
mhm.
demon or whatever, and uh and what is that innate? Like, is it just taught,
Yeah.
or like it was just a weird thing because I've never seen one where it goes, well, that's all I know. It kind of gives her like this childlike
Yeah.
symbolage to it.
It's weird exactly how she kind of will give hints about like the this demon world that she comes from,
Hmm.
and she'll even like slip back and forth in between like being a sister and being like going back to her demon roots
Yeah.
or goddess roots, whatever you want to call her, demon goddess. I don't know, you know.
Right.
And so we move on to where I guess he went to school. It's not really, I think he went to school, and he proceeds to pick a flower and fall into the pond. And when Chio sees you all like wet and kind of disheveled, she goes like kind of like batshit demon crazy
Right.
because she doesn't want nothing to happen to her little brother.
Yeah. I kind of felt like that was the switch part too in this because it was almost like, all right, whose ass do I need to kick to protect you?
Yeah, she's like, who do I need to kill?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so they go from there to the outside, and because you is all muddy and uh dirty,
Yeah.
and we get to see her play with a hose. You want to take this part?
Yeah. I mean, so she plays with the hose and starts basically like squirting him with water,
Mm-hmm.
squirting water on herself, just having fun with it because obviously this wasn't around the last time she was
Yeah,
summoned. But then we get the whole, hey, sisters actually give brothers they wash their back and stuff, right?
yeah.
And it does a little more than that because
She uses her
sh-
tentacles to wash his body.
yeah, because it kind of turns into like tentacle porn. I have to agree with
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah.
just everywhere. She like ties his arms out, pulls them away, starts trying to wash him everywhere. And then we
And
get that weird.
this is where he gets the thing where he's like, "Oh man, I'm losing consciousness."
Yeah, this
You
is like
know?
the third or
Yeah.
fourth time. And we also get the weird thing where the panel uh on page I just saw the page that it was on.
69.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that before. Oh
Yeah.
shit. But she's like almost, and I don't know because of how it's drawn.
You
I
think
don't know because of
it
how it's
looks
drawn.
like she's her tentacles going up behind him and going like out through the top of his pants.
I was thinking it was going down, but because I was thinking the other one was another tentacle. So,
Oh, and she's
but
like,
I mean, it could be either way. I don't know.
oh, you got something in your pocket,
Right?
and he's like,
It's my
oh,
flashlight.
oh, yeah, I picked this flower for you because I wanted you to have it because it was beautiful, and I
Right.
think you need
And
something
that's
special.
and that's when he's starting to pass out. So I love this where it's like uh oh, nice save. I'm glad I had this
Yeah,
flower in my
yeah, and
pocket.
she's like, oh, thank you very much. It makes me very happy, and this is where it switches into weird mode again, where like she's like leans in and she's like,
She's about
looks
to
like
give him the
she's
kiss.
yeah, she's gonna kiss. And he says, we don't do that. Brother and sister doesn't do that. But she's
Yeah.
like, I want to do it. Just let me.
Yeah. But then it's funny because she doesn't know that she's actually standing on the hose,
Yeah.
and the hose actually cock blocks her. I feel like
I feel like he kind of cock blocks himself.
no, I mean her.
Oh
She
yeah,
she
yeah.
the basically the hose cock blocks her. Which I mean that's another part I feel like in this is that she sat there and if you really read it in the mindset of
Hmm.
she's just portraying herself as his sister as like a fetish thing
Yeah.
and she's trying to get him to cross the line
Uh huh.
that maybe she can fully steal his soul at that point. But he's so like wanting the family that he
Yeah.
looks past that all the time.
Yeah. No, most definitely. And then we move from that to the next night, and Yu wakes up from a bad dream of his family not wanting him,
All of them,
and
all
all
the
of them,
family,
all of them not wanting him because he's like a little piece of shit or something,
right?
you know. And it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you see that Chio is awake, and she's been reading, you know, and
Right.
apparently she doesn't sleep
Yet.
yet.
Yeah. Yeah, she brings that up. She goes, my human form hasn't adjusted yet for my demon form, so
Do you think she like sits there and like watches him sleep?
I don't exactly know how to sleep just yet.
Yeah.
Does she?
Do you think
I
she
don't
just sits there and like watches him sleep like Creeper?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so, but part of me says she probably like sits there and curls up with him and cuddles him and does all this other stuff
Yeah.
and another part of me is kind of like no she's sitting there reading all these books because I feel like maybe she's putting the time to learn all this stuff because
Yeah.
she is stupid, she doesn't know anything else, and that maybe she can use the information and knowledge that she gets now
Hmm.
to possibly uh, catch him later on,
Yeah.
or that for maybe after this whole contract with him is done, then in the future
Hmm.
she'll be able to use this as a tool to get other people.
Yeah. And so he thinks up an idea, and he's like, "Hey, let's go for a walk at 3 o'clock in the morning."
It's three
You
o'clock
know.
in the morning.
And she's like, "Yeah, let's go. I've never been on a walk before. This is the first time that I'm gonna be out of the compound or whatever it's called,
Yeah, out of the
like
house.
out of the house, And they're walking around, talking and stuff like that. And he sees this like creepy guy thing, and he's like, "Oh, let's go this way over here." And she's like, "Oh, you can see that?
Yeah,
You
the
you can
spirit.
you can see the spirit?" And the spirit has like he looks like a emo guy with four eyeballs.
Yeah,
He's like, "Yeah, I can see it. I've been able to see things like that ever since I was little." They don't go too much detail into what
yeah, not yet.
that is,
We don't know very much about that yet.
Yeah.
But we do get that context though. I'm really glad that this was in there
Hmm.
because we do get the context from the beginning where the family goes, "Oh, well, he's weird, like he talks to
Yeah.
himself a lot or whatever
Yeah.
and he mumbles." And we get the context here where he actually tells us and says, "Hey, you know, the reason why I basically mumble and whatnot is because I'm trying to talk to these spirits.
Yeah.
And he kind of shut himself off from that. And I think he realized he wouldn't get in his family to like him any better and still
Hmm.
wanted to try and talk to these spirits.
Yeah, that's true. And so they kind of like run off, and they, I don't know exactly how you would say exactly what happens next. Um, but they just have a nice walk and get into some somewhat sexual positions.
Some
It's
sexual dancing,
it's some sexual dancing or frolicking. I don't exactly know what it is. She tries to make it a thing, but he's like, "No, I'm not really there for
yeah.
that." You know.
And is it that before or after he trips or she trips?
Uh, that's around the same time where she trips.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't tell because in one panel, like I thought she was falling off of like a little hill, and another panel
Yeah.
it looks like she's falling into a like an open grave.
Yeah, it was hard to see. Yeah, from what it looks like maybe like the separation between like a bridge and like a body of like water, maybe like a channel or something.
Yeah,
And she like kind of catches him and catch she like uses her tentacles
starts
and they
flying.
yeah, starts like kind of flying, and that's when they kind of like
Heck,
fall.
I can see it now. I was such a bad person.
And she's like,
I can see
call
it
me
now.
sis,
You
call me
start
sis."
you start asking like the person you're dating or whatever. You go, I'm gonna trust fall, and they're like, okay. They're like, why are you facing me? Because I want you to catch my face with your boobs.
Yeah, it really leans heavy into the whole brother sister thing, you know,
Yes, yes.
and it's I don't know, it's
It
interesting.
the other weird thing is it makes me think about the little thing on TikTok where it
Uh huh.
goes, uh, "Hey, step bro, can you help me out of this?"
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that's kind of the other feeling I get, like with parts of this. Is just,
yeah.
oh, hey, step bro, help me out. And I imagine that you is kind of like people don't do that, you know. we're
Yeah,
we're siblings. We don't do that stuff.
and so like the next day, you wakes up to see Chiho like studying the news,
Yeah,
and she's like learning more about human culture and like studying like faces and stuff like that on the off the news. And she's like, "Hey, there's just something that I want to do."
which where is it? There's actually a spot in this that she says that I actually love.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. At the top square, it says, "At first, all faces looked the same to her, so she
Uh
couldn't
huh.
tell individual people apart." And the only thing I could think of is like, whenever you have that like family member that says like all of a certain race like looks the same or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what it
She
made me think about.
she couldn't even tell gender apart. So, like
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
just
for
looked
a
the
while.
same. Everybody just looked the same, you know. And
So,
so,
Jesus.
what happens next? What does she want to
Uh,
do to Chio?
oh, with the barley tea.
No, she wants to clean his ears.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, can I clean your ears?
Yeah, so she wants to clean his ears because she sees it on TV. Now, if
Yeah.
you know, ear cleaning is a little different in Japan.
Yes.
It's somewhat fetishized in like media.
Yes.
It seems like to where like the guys will have their ears cleaned by the women, and they have to lay their head on the laps of the women as they clean out ears. Which who why would anybody have an ear cleaning fetish?
I don't know. I think it's overly fetishized too
Yeah.
because I feel like I heard. some other ones that I've read that have that in there,
Uh
that
huh.
it's more of like a thing you let like a close friend or whatever do,
Yeah. Okay.
and they just and it's actually because they can see down in your ear and they can see if there's anything there to
Yeah.
try and clean it out for you.
Yeah. But it gets really interesting. There's this one panel that I like because she starts to pull out the tentacles, and you see the tentacle like go through his ear, and we get like an inner shot of like it going through his head,
Oh my god.
which I
Yeah,
thought was kind of
that
cool, but yet horrifying at the same time.
that was weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, I do have to agree with that.
That was really weird.
And they end. What was it? They talk about in this one part where he talks about that like he kind of like narrates the through the beginning and the end of each chapter,
Yeah.
and he's like, that day, little did I know, because of my immaturity, a summer promise I had never made before would come back to haunt me at the end of a twisted fate.
Yeah.
So this story has already happened,
Right.
and we're kind of being told it.
Yeah. And
You
that
know,
that they're gonna go to the beach at some point.
yeah, but they didn't make it to the beach.
Not today.
Not today. They didn't make it to the beach,
It
but
might
it
be.
starts.
It might be tomorrow.
It starts to rain, and they're like, "Oh no, we gotta get the clothes out of the rain and all our futon stuff." And they're like running out there, and she has her
Let
tentacles
me
out.
let me just tell you. At this point, she's a beast.
What?
At this point, she's a beast
You think? So? Why is that?
because she picks it all up at once. She's like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah,
here we go."
yeah. And this is actually a pretty funny part where he starts referencing like the thunder god, like Thor, basically. And
Yeah, the
she's like,
thunder god in Japan.
yeah, and she's like, what god do I have to kill for it to stop scaring my little you know?
My little
And
brother.
she's like, no. He's like, no. It's just like a folklore type of thing. And he's scared. And what does she do to scare, or not scare?
She transforms into her version of like a thunder god.
Yeah, but she also, to make you not scared, because he's also scared of dogs for
Yeah.
some reason. Uh, and she protects him by putting her dress over his head.
Oh yeah. Like it's a bed sheet.
Yeah, like it's a bed sheet. Like
Yeah.
here's my on this part. I was just thinking of Ted, the movie Ted,
Yeah.
where it was like Thunder Buddies.
Oh my god. Thun- Thunder buddies and chill.
Yeah,
Oh my god. That would be horrible. Hey,
and
Thunder buddies and chill. You want to come over?
and so they sit. Our manga ends with them sitting there, looking out at the rain on the porch. I think it's like a porch, right?
Yeah, they're inside the room, but it's
Yeah,
old Tomatami
yeah.
window frames and everything, so it opens up so they can actually see outside of the room, um, and see the rain falling on the other side of the little porch thingy.
So she Chio asks you like what exactly he is afraid of, and he is most afraid of losing his family.
Yeah,
And that's where our volume ends. And he's afraid of losing her cuz technically at the moment she is his only family,
yeah,
you know. You know. So what I what were your thoughts and opinions on this first volume? I know you read the second volume as well, right?
yeah. Part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, it was good. I
Mm-hmm.
really like this first one.
Uh-huh.
Um, I think just because of the misunderstandings and stuff of
Mm-hmm.
what are you exactly,
Yeah.
but well, what she is to you,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not. it was just kind of right now because it kind of seems like
Yeah.
every other kind of more itchy manga that we've read.
Yeah. So, oh, sorry, continue.
That was it.
Okay. So, my thought was so I was really high on this manga, like hyped up for this manga back when it came out. And
Yeah,
I believe I gave it a glowing review on my YouTube channel.
yeah,
So I read volume 1. I reread volume 1 today, and I read volume 2. And I don't know how I feel like my opinions have changed on this manga.
okay,
I it's a really slow burn. Like once I got to like volume 2, and it was just them like doing like things every day, like they would go catch bugs or cook something or do something like bust open a
yeah,
watermelon. It was kind of almost like a slice of life manga.
yeah,
It seemed like, which they do kind of bring back the uncle later on in the second volume. Like he's like looking for something, and you have to find it. He's like looking for like a letter,
yeah,
and they don't really bring up the supernatural aspect of you seeing things in the second volume, but it's them more spending time together and stuff like that, you know.
yeah,
And it's I don't know. I felt like I somewhat I enjoyed the book for what it was. The only thing that's really keeping me interested in the book is what is Chio's um end goal?
yeah.
Like what is her what's the word I'm looking for?
What does she
Like
want
what
out of it?
yeah, what does she want out of it, you know? What like and what's going to happen? That's the only reason I've bought like the first 4 volumes.
Yeah,
But this series comes out so slow.
yeah,
Like I think we get like I think like we got like I think like you get like one a year, I think. It seems like. And these aren't thick books. These are actually fairly thin volumes of manga.
yeah,
But I do like the horror aspect that has kind of interwoven within the book itself. I
yeah,
think that's really interesting. But when we get into the fetishization of Chio and the whole brother sister dynamic,
yeah.
it kind of creeps me out. But I don't know
That,
if it's supposed to creep me out
that's true.
or what.
There's no knowing.
Because there's kind of like this underlying horror aspect to the book, and I'm interested to see like where it goes. I don't know what like genre this fucking falls under.
Right?
You know,
It falls under surprise.
it falls under surprise. I mean,
Surprise.
this it's not a bad read. It's not. If I had to give it a rating, I would probably give it a 3 out of 5. You
Yeah,
know, it's not gonna be for everybody. It really isn't. Because it is a mature title. There's it says there's a language, nudity, sex, and violence in this thing.
yeah.
Um, and there's a lot of fan service, a lot of inappropriate fan service. Um,
This is
one thing,
true.
one thing I will say though is the artwork is really good.
It is.
Like it's really well done, and it's funny how it kind of shifts. The comedic timing is actually very well done in this book.
Yeah,
It's mostly from her perspective when she flip flops back and forth from demon to not demon,
yeah,
and her trying to do average household things,
right.
you know?
Yeah,
And I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time recommending anybody like pick it up.
Right.
Like, I feel like this would be a book where like uh I'm reading it on on the hush hush, like down low.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you read that new volume, Elder Sister? Shh, 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 shh. We don't
Oh
talk
my
about that in
gosh.
public. Shh, shh. We don't talk about that in public. Shh, shh,
Yeah.
shh. I don't know what you're talking
Shh.
about.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know?
no. Oh no. I agree. I definitely agree. Like especially like depending on where I'm reading it at. Like if you look at it, if you
Mm-hmm.
flip it over face down,
Yeah.
and you have it backside up first, it looks a lot better than if you have it right
Right
side
side
up.
up. Right side up. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I keep turning it upside down so I don't have to worry about people asking me about it and like, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
some crazy sexy stuff happening on that. You care to explain?
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah. Like when I read volume two, I don't want to say I was a little bored,
Yeah,
but it just I don't know. It's just moving so the volume two just moves so slow for me. Um, I don't know. I hope volume three picks up. I really do
yeah,
with that, but it kind of does the same thing. Where like, oh, so and so doesn't understand cooking, or so and so wants to go collect bugs and
yeah.
stuff like that. It just I don't know. How did you feel about it?
Um,
Or you know,
yeah. I mean, since I'm not like that far into the series, I really don't know how to feel about it. Besides it just being one of those kind of sort of like generic. There's some creature girl that came down and has to figure out what she's going to do with this guy, kind of sorta,
yeah,
and just the some of the other stuff is just kind of different aspects. I feel like on that original story,
hmm
so I don't know how to exactly feel about it when it comes down to all that.
yeah, and it. Go ahead. Sorry.
That was it.
Okay, yeah, and like I do find it interesting as a reader. Um, we don't know, like, is she doing this because she wants to do it,
Right.
or does she have like an ulterior motive? And I think he even questions it
That's
in the
true too.
first volume as well.
That's true too because I've been questioning it. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, but do you want to talk about what you found out about this book?
what somebody told me about it.
Yeah, because somebody told me something similar, but yours was a little different. We'll go with
Yeah.
what you said first.
Okay. So somebody that I know found out that I was reading this
Huh.
and told me that basically that after the artist would write a chapter of this,
Mm-hmm.
that they would
Mm-hmm.
go and turn around and write a hentai chapter of that night later on.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because the chapters are broken up by day and night.
right.
Yeah. But
So
I heard through a comment on my video that Elder Sister Like One is a prequel series to the hentai. That's what
what
I heard.
does it have the same name?
I don't know. I can't find any information about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I didn't look that hard, so I didn't know. I don't actually know.
That's true too.
You know. But yeah. But he also the creator also has another series. I think he just did the artwork for it, but he does the "Do You Love Your Mom" and her double target hit multi attack.
Yeah.
So the artwork's actually very similar to that, you know.
Yeah.
But I kind of like this art better than that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I like the creepy aspect to this. Like,
Yeah.
what would you call this? Like a slice of life horror?
Well, I don't even know if you could call it a slice of life because it does have the demon aspect in it.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know.
Yeah. So what rating would you give Elder Sister Like One?
Oh man. Right now, just off of the first one, I would probably give it a 4.
Uh huh.
Just off of the first one. Um, and then whenever we cover book 2, then I can say how that was altered. Because
Okay.
I somewhat enjoyed this first one, but like I
Mm-hmm.
said, like I figured there was going to be something else happen.
Yeah.
And so just off of the first book, that's what I would rate it.
Uh huh.
And whenever we cover the second book, um, I'll tell you how that rating
It's a
fluctuates.
this series is a slow burn.
Definitely,
Like it is slow.
I
Like
definitely agree with that.
which I don't know. I felt differently after reading it the second time.
Yeah,
I don't know. I wasn't as high up on it, hyped up for it as the first time I read it. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, read at your own risk, but make sure to read not in a public place. Oh wait,
definitely.
let me ask you a question.
All right.
Would you consider you the character like a Shota?
No, because I think he's in high school.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's in high school like later.
Okay.
Um,
Because he looks really young.
he does. But I think whenever the aunt's kind of talking about him, we find
Mm-hmm.
out that he's like 14 maybe. He was
Is he?
14 when he lived with him. So
Okay.
I'm assuming now that he's probably 16.
Oh yeah, because you got to keep him legal, right?
Yeah, you got to keep him legal. You got to keep him legal beagle, okay?
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. You have anything else to say about the series
No,
or this
no,
issue?
not really. Not really. Just everybody, just watch out for it because there's a lot of crazy stuff in it. Especially the last scene. And if you're ever gonna decide to throw your sundress over anybody's head, just be just watch out, whoever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Because if there's more girls like this out there, we're all gonna have to watch out. So
Yeah. Anyways, guys, thanks for listening. We appreciate everybody who listens to the podcast. If you
yeah,
have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in the future, you can email us at otakuologypodcast@gmail.com. If you send us a question, we'll read it on the air and answer it on the air for you. Um, you can also check out our Instagram at Otakuology Podcast,
yeah,
our TikTok. You can catch Jin at Jin's Infinite Library on
yeah,
Instagram. You can check me out at Otaku Mike on Instagram or YouTube. And you can look for Jin Graves on YouTube as well. We also have a YouTube channel for Otakuology.
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah. But thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this and
Stay
let
tuned for
us
more.
let us know if you check out Elder Sister Like One.
This is true.
Let us know.
This is
We
for
won't
sure true. Let
we
us
won't
know.
judge you if you check it out. Because we both checked it out.
Because we already judged ourselves.
Yeah. Anyways,
All right.
guys, thank you for listening.